the Essentials Club tutorial channel. I'm Maddie, and I've started this series as a way to help you to become more resourceful and creative by curating your own handmade minimal essentials wardrobe. So I've had this tutorial and garment on my mind for so long, and I wanted to go to the op shops, find 2 oversized men's button-up shirts and join them together to make a midi-length dress, because I'm all about that vibe. And originally I thought, the men's style shirts that you find in op shops are always those like stripes and patterns and checkers and gingham vibes, which I'm fine with. But then I walked into an op shop and the op shop gods just delivered these 2 mustard button-up oversized shirts. Mustard is one of my favorite colors, so I'm obsessed. And I'm going to be joining these, or showing you how to join these 2 together to make a dress. So obviously first off you need to have 2 button-up shirts. You could make it from scratch, but it's a lot of effort and time and I'm just not ready for that right now. So this is about shortcutting it, being resourceful and using what you can to make something out of an existing garment. So I'll talk you through the steps of how to join them and make them. Super simple, you don't need much for it, just some matching thread for the bobbin and for obviously the main top thread, some pins if you'd like to pin it together before you sew at the joining stage, some scissors, pen and paper if you want to write anything down for reference, and a sewing machine. You might also need a measuring tape. And that's it, super easy. Obviously if they're different patterns, you pick which one you want on the top and the bottom. Mine are exactly the same, so it doesn't bother me. But I'm going to be laying out the top one and figuring out the point that I'll be cutting it to then add the bottom section. So for this, measure from the top of your shoulders down to wherever you want it to stop. I want mine to stop at the mid-calf, just below the knee range, which I will measure out. Whenever you measure yourself, remember to hold it in place so that when you bend over it doesn't move. And then figure out the point where you want it to stop. So for me, mine's going to be about 45 to 46 inches. Obviously, I'm then measuring from the top of this shirt down to the most bottom point where you can cut a straight line. Mine's 25, which means I need to add at least another 19 inches, which we will grab from the other shirt. But it's just good to measure it all out and figure out how much you need. So I would put some marks in at that 25 point, cut across, and then with the bottom one, so we know we've got 25 and I need 19, and instead of measuring from the top this time, we're going to measure from the bottom because we're adding that on to be the bottom of that top piece. So I need 19, which takes me up to just below the sleeve, which is perfect. I will cut across, and show you where that ends up. So I've cut the top half off one top, and as you can see now I've got a cute random thing that I can throw on. But what we're going to do, so I've unbuttoned the tops so that now that we can match the ends. So you can see, so that's the shirt. I'm going to flip it so the good side is facing up. And then, so that's the top half that's got the longer length. I'm then going to grab the bottom half, which is a little bit smaller, find the edge where I cut off, and lay it down good sides facing with the bottom cut edges joined. Which ends up being this area that you then sew along. And as you can see, because there are points of a shirt that do go in to match the body shape, it is quite a different size. So I'll figure out the difference, take it in, and then join it all up and show you how that turns out. So I added a bit of a dart into the existing seams to bring in the top one and match it all up. So it's ended up being the same length. I've pinned it together. As I mentioned before, good sides facing in on each other, and I'm just going to sew a straight line across there. ourselves a nice long dress. Because we've just attached the bottom of the other shirt, it's already hemmed at the bottom, which is ideal, but this is where you could try it on, take it up, figure out the different lengths that you want it, make any adjustments. You can also just leave it at this stage, but I'm going to add a few mods to make it a bit more along the aesthetic of my style. And what that will involve is I'm going to actually cut the sleeves, make them a bit shorter, just because I think it'll balance it out, because it is a long dress, have a short sleeve, and it's a nice oversized sleeve, so I think that'll come up nicely. And then on the bottom attached part, I'm actually going to unpick the seams on each side to about halfway of that bit that I added, just to add a bit of a split so when I walk it's got that nice open effect. So I'll show you how to do them, otherwise you can leave it as it is or you can follow along in these next steps as well. Going to fold it out or lay it down and figure out how long I want to cut the sleeve. So I know I want it to be a bit longer than this sleeve that I'm wearing. So I'm going to make mine a bit of an oversized sleeve, measuring from there down to about halfway down my arm, which is really coordinated when you do it yourself, which ends up being 8 inches. So of course add some seam allowance as we're going to be hemming it and making it nice and clean. So I'm going to make that 9 inches where I cut it. And same thing, because I measured from the top down, I'm going to measure from this top point down. So I'll cut to, just to be safe, I'm going to cut it at 10 because I always seem to mess things up and it's better to have a bit more fabric than to have a bit less. And you'll notice that if you find the end of the sleeve, it's got that straight line there, so I'm going to try and mimic that straight line where we're cutting. 10 inches down, which ends up being here. Cut a straight line across. And that's that sleeve done. Measure again from the top across to the point where you want to cut it. That's what the top ends up looking like. Now that that's cut, I'll just double fold it inwards and sew the hemline. So I'll do that in a sec, but while we're here I'm going to unpick the bottom as well. So I'll find that bottom point where I can begin to unpick it, figure out how far off I want it, find the point where it ends on your leg, measure up to where you want it to stop, and then you do the same on here, find the bottom, measure up to where you want it to stop, put a pin or a pencil line or something there to indicate where you want to stop, unpick it to there, and then just double fold the edges to give it a nice clean hemline. So I'm going to go through that and start unpicking, and then I'll talk you through the next stages. So I've unpicked the seams on each side to the point where I want it to stop, cut the sleeves, and it's time to just double fold everything and clean it up. As I've unpicked this, I don't have too much room to fold it for the hemline, so I'm just going to do 2 small double folds, pin it down, and then sew up, across and back down each side. Once I've gone up one side and I get to the point of where the hemline starts and where my unpicking finished, I'll put the foot down, twist the fabric, go across, put the foot down again, twist the fabric, and then go back down. So I'll cut off all the little bits of thread, and there we have the first side split all cleaned up. So that's it there, and I'll repeat that on the other side and show you what I do with the sleeves. So with the sleeve, fold the garment so that it's inside out and the bad side is, you can see all the hemlines, that's all showing. So then double fold it. Again, maybe this one you can do a bit bigger, probably 2 by 1 centimeters. Fold by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, pin it down or just start sewing. And that is how you clean out the hemline for the sleeve. Have a nice clean hemline for the sleeve. I always end up folding it when I wear stuff, so it'll probably end up being a bit scrunched, but at least you have the option for it to be a clean finish. And then the hemline on the splits. So my new garment is all ready to go. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, hope it all made sense, and if you give it a go, please tag me at the Essentials Club on Instagram or message me below, email me or whatever. And if you want to stay up to date with the latest tutorials, just subscribe and I'll show you how it turns out and what it looks like in action. I'm so excited to wear the mustard goodness.